You know, Hillary Clinton once famously said that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a lot of people to keep our little gay village in San Francisco, the Castro, clean and safe. Our guest tonight is Andrea Aiello, the Executive Director of the Castro Community Benefit District. Welcome.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people have referred to the Castro over the years as a village.
Yes.
Does it feel like that to you?
It absolutely feels like a village to me. People are so passionate about this neighborhood and they care so much, and it makes working for the Community Benefit District a real joy because people really pay attention, they really care.
Right. Now, for some people, they may not be familiar with what the CBD movement is about. It stands for Community Benefit District, and the original one in San Francisco was the Union Square BID, Business Improvement District. How did that become a CBD, and how many of them are there now?
I think there are about 11 altogether in San Francisco, and in 2004, Gavin Newsom developed legislation to enable these kinds of organizations to develop easier in the city. There's statewide legislation that allows for business improvement districts. That's what the Union Square BID is about. And so he developed San Francisco legislation, and he just called them community benefit districts rather than business improvement districts. We really are very similar. Right.
But the idea is to provide services that, well, in the age of budget cuts and whatnot, used to be taken care of by municipal governments and now kind of fall on groups like yours.
Correct. It is another way to bring additional services into neighborhoods. And I think the beauty of them is that it's a constant source of funding, so it's a real stable source of funding, and we're governed by a local community-based board. Our board members are both residents, property owners, and non-property owning merchants.
Right. So now the money to fund the CBD comes from an assessment, correct?
It's an assessment fee on the property that falls within the footprint of the Community Benefit District.
Right. And what is the footprint of the Castro CBD?
Roughly, we're up Market Street from Octavia up to Castro, down to 19th, 18th from Hartford to Diamond. Then we have Church from DuBose to 15th, about, on DuBose Street on the commercial side of the street, for that block where Maitre is, so between Church and Belcher. And then Guerrero on, again, the commercial side, so the west side of Guerrero from Market to DuBose. So
it's a lot bigger than most people, including myself, first realize. A lot of us just think, oh, this is the group of people, the ambassadors and the street cleaners that keep Castro Street clean, but it's basically District 8.
It is,
basically.
Well, not Noe Valley. But
yeah, the 94114.
Right, the 94114, right. We're about 20 blocks, and so it's pretty big.
Yeah. Now, you know, you mentioned the Union Square Business Improvement District. There's a South of Market CBD. There's a Yerba Buena CBD. There's other neighborhoods around San Francisco and other cities. I mean, I believe this whole movement started in New York to help keep Times Square clean and safe. But Castro Special, I mean, nothing against those other CBDs, but you probably don't have constituents that say, you are keeping an historic district clean and safe. How passionate do both tourists and locals get about what you do with the Castro?
Yeah. They get very passionate, but I really need to say that this is what makes the job so special and so wonderful, is because people really care and they really pay attention and they help. They'll call 311, you know, when they see graffiti. People call the CBD telephone, the dispatch number, when there's a mess on the sidewalk. And the merchants really care, and they really pitch in and do their piece. And a lot of the other districts, the business improvement districts and the community benefit districts is about commercial districts. And we do have residents that are mixed in with that footprint. But there's a lot of residents who live in the Castro or the Castro Upper Market area that are in the periphery of the CBD boundaries and feel like they have a say in what goes on within the CBD boundaries, and that's absolutely fine, and it all helps to build community and build community capacity, and there's tons of people who want to volunteer. I mean, they volunteer with AIDS, but they also want to volunteer to help make their neighborhood better.
Right. So tell me a typical day for one of the people that works the CBD, and that means not just administrative staff such as yourself, but you've got ambassadors and street cleaners, and I mean, who is the CBD? Who's their face?
So we I'm the only paid staff person. And then we contract out our cleaning services, and people will see them on the street. They push carts, and they have a CBD logo and the CBD jackets on or a shirt. And so there's 4 of them, and they work for our cleaning company, First Building Maintenance. But they work so hard. They're there from 4 a.m. We have shifts from 4 a.m. to about 10:30, and then 2 more come from about 11:30, and they stay until about 6. And they clean up overturned personal trash cans, overturned merchant trash cans. They sweep the sidewalks and the gutters from the partying the night before. And we'll also come, if we have a dispatch number within the footprint, which is 415-402-0522. And if there's a mess on the sidewalk, they will come and clean it up. They'll have water with them. So really they work very, very hard.
Do you think the average resident of the Castro understands the job you all do and
no, I think
how
they
much
think
it takes?
DPW.
Yeah, Department of Public Works, right,
I
right.
think it's DPW.
Right.
And don't understand, we have people out there on the streets 365 days a year. So every day, holidays, from 4 a.m. basically to about 6 p.m. And there's only 4 of them, and it's a big district. So, they can't be everywhere all the time. We even go down to where the library is, actually. So we take care of that little block. And it's a challenge, and they work really, really hard.
Now, you're a nonprofit, but
Yes.
you work closely with the city and the political structure. I mean, how closely do you work with the District 8 supervisor, Scott Wiener?
We work very closely together, and we collaborate a lot, and whenever I have some problems, maybe a city department isn't kind of paying enough attention, I'll call Scott or CC Scott on an email, and he takes care of things right away.
Right. So how large does the iconic ghost of Harvey Milk loom over the Castro?
I think very large, and and I think it really helps the neighborhood because it makes people passionate about the neighborhood. I mean, his legacy still makes people passionate about the neighborhood, and it brings in lots and lots of tourists into the neighborhood.
Well, let's talk about that. How important is tourism, and how important was the movie Milk to the financial stability of the neighborhood and the work you do?
I don't think that we can. It was Milk and Harvey's legacy is really important. It is why tourists from all over the world come to the Castro. And if you speak to the merchants on Castro Street, they will say predominant amount of their customers are tourists.
Right. Now, and I remember, as someone who's lived in the Castro all 28 years of being in San Francisco, not everyone was real thrilled with Milk filming there at first.
That's right. There's a lot of grumbling.
And of course, now they're all like, oh, it's a great thing.
Yeah, there was people get disrupted in their daily lives, and they feel like, oh, it's a pain in the neck, but look what it did.
Now, there are some improvements coming to Castro Street that are going to help tourism, I imagine. Tell me a little bit about them. I know there's street improvements and also something called the Rainbow Honor Walk.
Right. So the street improvements, I think a lot of people are becoming more and more aware of. The city is widening the sidewalks on the 2 blocks of Castro Street and putting in some bulb outs. It's about pedestrian safety. It's about making the Castro more comfortable to walk on, especially during all the different, gay holiday and regular holiday kinds of things.
Gay Pride and Halloween and all of that.
Right. And so we're really excited. It's going to really we'll all be consistent, clean, new sidewalks. They'll be easier to clean for us and much more comfortable for pedestrians. The whole idea is to make it much more pedestrian friendly and those intersections at 18th and Castro to make them safer. So we're really very, very excited about that.
And in the Rainbow Honor Walk, that's going to be part of it.
So the Rainbow Honor Walk, it was really exciting. So the Rainbow Honor Walk we're the fiscal agent for the Rainbow Honor Walk, and they are working on developing their own nonprofit status, and so donations for the Rainbow Honor Walk can be made to the Castro CBD.
And this is basically a walk of fame to LGBT heroes and heroines, and these are going to be bronze plaques.
Bronze plaques in the sidewalk on both blocks, correct,
right.
David? Yeah.
So hopefully they'll bring even more tourists into the Castro.
Yeah. Another thing for people to see, another thing for tourists to look at and to read about.
Great. Thanks for coming. We'll have you back on to talk when it's installed.
Oh, great.
Thanks for watching. You've been watching 10%. I'm your host, David Perry, and we'll see you next week here on Comcast 104.